What's up, guys? This is D. No, this is new, beautiful Reddit story.
Title: I used to snooze my life away until I discovered this one secret. Hey Reddit. Longtime lurker, first-time poster. I saw a post the other day asking, people who don't hit snooze in the morning, what is your secret? And I felt like I needed to share my story. Not because I'm some morning guru, but because I used to be the kind of person who would snooze until my alarm was a cruel joke. And now, I wake up before it even rings. But before I get into the how, let me tell you about the why. The snooze cycle of doom. For years, I lived in the endless cycle of snooze. My alarm would go off at 6:30 a.m., and I'd tell myself, just 5 more minutes. Those 5 minutes turned into 10, then 20. Then suddenly, I was in a full panic, rushing out the door with a half-brushed mouth, mismatched socks, and the distant memory of a breakfast I never had time to make. It wasn't just about being late, though. I felt sluggish all day. My productivity tanked. My workout suffered. My mind felt foggy. I told myself I was just not a morning person, but that was a lie. The truth was, I had no discipline. And then I met someone who changed everything. The man who never snoozed. Enter Greg. Greg was the new guy at my office. He showed up early, always had a coffee in hand. Looked like he had already been awake for hours by the time I dragged myself into work. He wasn't annoyingly perky or one of those rise and grind people, but he had an energy about him. Calm, collected, like he had time to actually exist before work started. One day, after I rolled in looking like I'd lost a battle with my bed, I asked him, "Dude, how do you not hit snooze?" His answer was so simple, I almost laughed. Because I don't let myself negotiate with the alarm. The rule that changed my life. Greg explained that every morning, we have 2 voices in our heads. The rational voice, the one that set the alarm, made plans, and decided what was best for us. The sleep goblin, the voice that, upon hearing the alarm, immediately forgets everything and just wants to stay warm and cozy forever. Greg's rule? The sleep goblin doesn't get a vote. The second the alarm goes off, he gets up. No negotiation. No just 5 more minutes. Because he knows that if he even thinks about snoozing, he'll lose. I was skeptical, but I decided to try it. The first morning, pure hell. The next day, when my alarm went off, my first instinct was to hit snooze. But I forced myself up. No thinking. No debating. Just up. It sucked. My body screamed at me. My brain was furious. My bed felt like the most inviting place on earth. But I didn't let the sleep goblin win. And something weird happened. By the time I was brushing my teeth, I wasn't that tired anymore. By the time I was making coffee, I felt awake. By the time I got to work, I had this weird sense of pride. I had beaten my own brain. The habit forms. I kept doing it. Every morning. No negotiations. And within a couple of weeks, something incredible happened. I started waking up before my alarm. Like my body knew it was time. No grogginess. No exhaustion. Just this strange, natural rhythm that I had never experienced before. And the benefits? Insane. I had time for breakfast. I actually enjoyed my mornings. I was more productive, more focused, and just happier. Turns out, waking up early doesn't just give you time, it gives you control. The final test. A month in, I had a realization. I wasn't just waking up earlier, I was taking charge of my life. One morning, I got a text from a friend at 5 a.m. "Bro, why are you online this early?" I smiled. Because I had finally figured it out. The secret. The thing that made the difference between people who snooze and people who don't. The first decision of your day sets the tone for everything that follows. So, Reddit, if you're still hitting snooze, try it. Just one morning. No negotiation. Just up. And let me know if your life changes, too. The backslide and the revelation. Alright, so here's the thing. I wish I could say I never hit snooze again. That I just ascended into morning person greatness and never looked back. But that would be a lie. About 2 months into my new, snooze-free life, I had a rough night. Stress, bad sleep, you name it. My alarm went off at 6 a.m., and I thought, one time won't hurt. One snooze turned into 2. 2 turned into 3. Next thing I knew, I was back in the cycle. And the worst part? I felt it. That sluggishness. That lack of control. My days felt rushed again. It took me a few days to admit what had happened. But when I did, I went back to Greg. "Dude," I said, I fell off. I snoozed. And now it's like my body forgot everything. How do I fix it? Greg just laughed. You didn't fall off, he said. You just gave the sleep goblin a taste of power again. You have to take it back. And that's when he told me something I'll never forget. You don't build discipline by never failing. You build it by failing and getting back up anyway. So I reset, went back to the rule, and within a few days, I was back to waking up with 0 snoozes. But this time, I realized something deeper. This wasn't just about waking up early. It was about self-respect. Why this trick works on everything. After mastering my mornings, I started applying this no negotiation rule to other areas of my life. Working out, no debating, just go. Eating healthier, no last-minute junk food excuses. Starting projects I'd been putting off, do it now, not later. And, crazy enough, it worked every time. Because, at the core of it, snoozing isn't just about sleep. It's about delaying responsibility. It's about telling yourself, I'll deal with this later, when you know deep down that later never comes. Once I started treating my alarm like a promise to myself, one that I refused to break, everything else in my life followed. The final test, a year later. Fast forward a year. My snooze days are long behind me. I wake up at 5:30 a.m. like it's second nature. And now, I don't even need an alarm. My body just knows. And the best part? The benefits have bled into everything. I have time for things I love, reading, working out, actually enjoying my mornings instead of rushing. I'm more disciplined in every area of my life because I've trained myself to do instead of delay. I feel in control of my time instead of letting time control me. And that's why, when I saw the Reddit post asking, "What's your secret to not hitting snooze?" I had to answer. Because I know what it's like to feel trapped in that cycle. But I also know how good it feels to break free. So here's my challenge to you. Tomorrow morning, when your alarm goes off, don't snooze. Just get up. No thinking. No debating. No negotiating. Just get up. Then do it again the next day. And the next. And the next. And one day, you'll realize you don't even need the alarm anymore. You've already won. TLDR, the secret to never hitting snooze? No negotiations with the sleep goblin. Just get up. No thinking. No debating. Just up. It's hard at first, but once you master it, you'll never look back. The unexpected side effect, people started noticing. I didn't think anyone would care about my new habit. I mean, waking up early isn't exactly a party trick, but people around me started to notice. At work, my boss asked, "What's different about you?" I didn't even realize what he meant until he explained. "You seem sharper, more on top of things, more in control." And I wasn't scrambling into the office last minute, half asleep. I had time in the mornings to plan my day, drink coffee without stress, and actually think before diving into work. But it wasn't just my boss. My friends started commenting too. "Bro, how do you have energy this early? Wait, you work out before work? Who are you?" I even had one friend who straight up asked if I had started meditating or something because I just seemed calmer. And that's when I realized this wasn't just about waking up. I had fundamentally changed my relationship with time. The science behind it. Yes, I Googled it. At this point, I was obsessed with understanding why this worked so well. So I did what any good Redditor does. I went down a research rabbit hole. Here's what I found. The snooze button actually makes you more tired. When you hit snooze and fall back asleep, your body starts a new sleep cycle. Then your alarm wakes you up in the middle of it, making you groggier than if you had just gotten up the first time. It's called sleep inertia, and it's why just 5 more minutes never actually helps. Morning discipline spills into the rest of your day. Studies show that self-control is like a muscle. If you use it first thing in the morning, by resisting snooze, you're more likely to make better choices throughout the day. It's called decision fatigue, and by winning the first battle of the day, you set yourself up for success. Your brain loves routines. Your body has something called a circadian rhythm, which is basically your internal clock. When you wake up at the same time every day without snoozing, your body learns that it's time to be awake, making mornings feel easier over time. So basically, by forcing myself to stop snoozing, I accidentally hacked my brain into being more productive, more disciplined, and less tired. The real test: could I teach someone else? At this point, I was all in. I had cracked the code, but I wanted to see if it could work for someone else. So I decided to run an experiment. I challenged my friend Mike, who was the biggest snoozer I knew, to try my method for 1 week. Mike was skeptical. "Dude, I've hit snooze every day since high school. This won't work." But I told him the rule. No negotiations. No thinking. No snooze. Just up. I even sent him a text every morning. Get up, Mike. No snooze. No mercy. The first 2 days? Brutal. He hated me. Called me names I can't repeat. But by day 4, something wild happened. Mike sent me this text. Bro, I got up before my alarm today. What have you done to me? By the end of the week, he admitted. Okay, I get it now. I feel like I actually own my mornings instead of them owning me. And that's when I knew. This wasn't just a fluke. This works. For anyone. So what now? Look, I'm not saying you need to wake up at 5 a.m. and run 10 miles. I'm not saying you need to be one of those hustle culture people who act like sleep is the enemy. All I'm saying is, if you feel like your mornings suck, if you feel like you're always running behind, if you feel like you have no control over your time, try this. 1 week. No snooze. No negotiations. Just up. And I promise, your life will start to change in ways you never expected. So Reddit, who's in?